Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it is time for our April 2023 release hop. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's new Gnome dies Cinco de Mayo add-ons, their Cinco de Gnomo stamp set, the Cinco de Gnomo outline dies, our fruit dies, along with our Lucky Charm stamp set and the Lucky Charm outline dies, the Go Bananas stamp set, our Gnome dies, our scalloped rectangle dies, and our Scallop Square dies. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to stamp a little sentiment onto paper tray ink white cardstock with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink using a stamp positioner. I'm just stamping the little cheers. And then I will use the outline dies to go with those. And I'm just looking, so that's from that Lucky Charm stamp set and outline dies. So I'm just going to run that through my Gemini machine. I'm also using the Happy Hour kit from Reminisce. Okay, so I went ahead and I cut out our Gnome die with American Crafts black cardstock for the shadow or for the base layer. Then I'm adding the beard. Remember, you always go to the beard next. That's American Crafts brown cardstock. With the boys, you always start with the beard. There we go. And then I'm going to pop up his little feet with some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Remember, you can use the edges. Don't throw the edges out. I'm just using a pair of scissors to do that. I'm using P13 Stamping Pad Skin Tones for the skin. There we go. So kind of cute, right? So I went ahead and I cut out the lime from the fruit dies. And it's a great little, set. I cut it out of American Crafts brown cardstock and then again out of Doodlebug's green cardstock. There we go. They both have a texture. Then the little leaf is cut out of Doodlebug's Rainbow Petite Prints dot stripe on the dot side. There we go. So we got a cute little lime. And now I'm going to make that into a hat. And I'm going to do that by lining up the beard. And then I will cut the bottom of the lime so it's shaped the same as the beard. So the hat will line up with the beard. It's really easy. There we go. And I'll run that through my Gemini machine. I also cut out that cheers. There we go. We're going to run that through. I'm using my little Gemini Go. There we go. And then I will pull off that see-through tape that I use. There we go. And I did cut a second lime out. I just wanted it to be a little bit thicker, and I, cut the same beard out of it. There we go. So it can line up perfectly with the beard and make him look like he's got a little lime hat. There you have it. And then I will trim off whatever shows behind, right, with a pair of scissors. Just pretty easy stuff. And then, gnome surgery, right? There we are. And then I'm just going to use some ATG tape to stick that down in place. And I'm working on my Stampin' Up! Pad as I normally do. Can't remember if I mentioned that. There we go. Now I'm going to stick down his little mustache, and I'm using scrapbook adhesives. These are just some little squares. Kind of kept everything pretty level with the hat because there was a few levels of cardstock on that hat. And then I will use my reverse tweezers to get it in place. And now I'm going to pop up the little nose with some of those miniature Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. The little tiny ones. And then I'm going to pop his little nose on top. So it's sort of covering the lime hat a little bit. Now, remember, I put together that little addition there from the Cinco de Gnomo, or from the Cinco de Mayo Gnome add-ons. You can see me put that together on the Gnome assembly video that I released on day 1 of the Gnome dies Cinco de Mayo add-ons. You can check that out. There we go. Kind of fun, right? And now I'm going to put together the card. So this first is a piece of citrus. I think it's citrus dot 12-inch from Doodlebug. And I just cut that 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card front. That is an A2 sized card made out of paper tray ink white cardstock, 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches. And but I'm going to use it in the horizontal direction, I guess. And then I'm pulling out Reminisce's Happy Hour 12-inch assortment. And I used the 3-inch Scallop Square die to cut out the one little, Margarita kind of sign. And then the other one for the tequila, I used the 2 3/4 by 4-inch stitched rectangle die for that one. And then I did go ahead and I cut out some more little limes. And I'm going to put this little slice together. So first I cut it out of American Crafts white cardstock, and I'm going to glue that down onto a piece of that dot, the Rainbow Petite Prince dot stripe from Doodlebug. I sort of trimmed it to fit behind because I wanted a kind of a lighter shade to go behind that. There we go. And then I'm going to stick it down onto the Doodlebug green cardstock. There we go. And now you've got a little slice of lime for the front of the card. And I'll weight it down in between because why not, right? And now I'll put together another little lime. This one has a little leaf on it. And I cut it out of American Crafts cardstock first in brown, and then the Doodlebug green cardstock. And then I'm going to use the Rainbow Petite Prince, I think that's Dot Grid Daisy Stripe on the dot side. There we go, in green. That's a nice thing about Doodlebug products. They all kind of match, right? And now I'm going to try and put the layout of this card together. I ran out of ATG tape on my skinny ATG tape, so I'm just going to grab another gun, and that has a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to stick down that little tequila sign. And then I'll have that cute little Cantina Margarita sign, which is kind of fun, right? There we go. And then I have that sentiment that was stamped onto paper tray ink white cardstock with VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink. And then I used the outline dies to cut that out. Adorable new sentiments from that Cinco de Gnomo stamp set and outline dies. Super cute. So it says Margaritas with my Gnomies. And I'm just going to pop that up with scrapbook adhesives. And then I'm going to pop that in the upper right-hand corner of this card. So this is a really simple card to make. I bought this, I bought this happy hour paper, kind of thinking of margaritas. I just thought that would be fun. There we go. Now I'm going to add a few little limes to the background. I'm trying to decide where they're going to be. Sort of like he's got a bunch of limes sitting behind him, but I don't want to cover up too much of the background, just so you get the idea of what's behind him, right? And then I'm going to use some ATG tape to stick these little limes down. And I don't know, I think it gives an interesting little nest for him to be sitting in, right? There we go. And then I'm just going to add a little slice. And that one will be on top. But I'm keeping these all flat with that ATG tape. And I'll stick that one down in the lower right-hand corner. Trying to make sure it doesn't stick out past the card base because you want it to sit nice and flat when it's standing up, for the recipient. There we go. And then I noticed that a little piece of paper was kind of sticking out behind the lime that I didn't like, and I'm just going to trim those off. Sometimes awkward edges don't look nice, so I just trim that off. And then I'll decide where my little gnome is going to sit. And I'm going to use those scrapbook adhesives again. I have these sitting on my desk, so I thought I'd use them up. I tend to use Stampin' Up! Dimensionals the most. But like I said, these were sitting on my desk. And you might as well use what you got, right? So there we go. So I'm using my EK Success scissors just to trim them down. We've got the non-stick blades. And then I will stick this cute little guy on top of those limes. So you can still see the little sentiment. It says sort of right above the lime, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, which is kind of funny. And now I'm going to add on these little leaves that were cut out of the Doodlebug Rainbow Petite Prints, the dot stripe and then the dot grid daisy stripe. I believe I cut them out in the grid and then in the dot. So just, you know, just for green, but like different like looking textures, but no texture. Do you know what I mean? Dots, stripes, grids. I love Doodlebug's Rainbow Petite Prints. I just think that they're really easy to use. There we go. I'm adding that glue on and sticking them down. Now on the inside, I'm going to add a quick strip of paper. That is from that same Reminisce Happy Hour. It's got a black kind of drink pattern on it. So I'm going to add a 1-inch strip of that to the bottom, just with like a little less than 1/4 of an inch showing, and I will trim off the overhang with a pair of scissors. And now the bottom of all of these papers from Reminisce Happy Hour has a strip of pattern. So I trim that off, and I'm using that just to line along the top of that 1-inch strip. And it just gives you a little bit of, you know, I don't know, a little more like making it a little more decorative, I guess you'd want to say. There we go. So now I'm going to add this cute little lime to the inside with some ATG tape and some art glitter glue. There we go. And I'm planning on sort of straddling this cheers, but because there's a couple layers behind it, I thought I better cut that cheers outline a couple of times just so everything's level. So I cut it out of the brown and the green just because they were sitting on my desk, you know, making things easy. And then I will layer those up with some art glitter glue. And then that way the cheers will sort of straddle the lime and then that background paper there, or that strip of paper. I just think it looks a little bit better than to have it flat, you know, on that paper there. There we go. And then I'm just going to make sure everything's lined up. And then I will glue it all, like I said, straddling that lime. And like I said, nice and easy. There we go. Just going to pop that down there. There you have it. So it says cheers. There we go. And then I'm pulling out the Go Bananas stamp set, and I'm using the sentiment, wishing you a slice of happiness. And I'm going to use a stamp positioner there. And I'm going to stamp on the inside of this card with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And remember, like I always say, you don't want to press too hard. You know, if you need to give it another go, just press lightly and you can restamp it in the same spot. You know, no need to press too hard and warp the lettering. There we go. So I just think that looks super cute. There we go. And now I'm going to pull out some sprinkles. These are matte sprinkles from Doodlebug, and they're the fall assortment. And I'm just using these green ones. There's no shine, but I like the look that it gives. It just gives it a little something something for decoration, right? And I'm sort of sprinkling them. And then there you go. I think that turned out super cute, and it's a pretty easy little card to replicate. There we go. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog. Be inspired. The Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on these amazing products. Remember, a blog hop is going on, so you want to hop through all the spots, leave a comment, and you could win a stamp set of your choice, which is lots of fun. And remember to tag us on Instagram, and so we'd love to see what you come up with. Thank you. Bye, everyone.